Good morning and welcome to Market of the Moment. You know, it's funny, I can't talk this morning. This is gonna be a fun one. The countdown clock is faster than me today because I still don't have all my shares set, but now I'm official. So we got it there. But good morning, happy Thursday to everybody. Welcome to this week's Market of the Moment. Now we're carrying on my other stuff here. So, but welcome to Market of the Moment. This week we have a really couple of topics that we're going to be talking about that we're really excited about. Ms. Sharon Cahoon is out on vacation today, so we are proceeding with her absence. She's on vacation and having a great family trip. Each week, though, we are very excited to also be joined by Miss Amber Kovarik, who is joining us from, I think we're North Carolina, someplace.
North Carolina, yes.
In Woodsy and not 112E.
Out of the Inferno.
Yeah, not the Inferno. Yeah, I spent a lot of time running between offices yesterday, and it's hot. And Amber's going to be missing us next week, but Amber brings us the mortgage update each week and what to expect in that world. So we're looking forward to hearing from Amber. Oh, and by the way, this is our first time of streaming on LinkedIn, so we're excited for that as well. A little longer on my introductions and my very smooth flow this morning. But we are also very excited and happy to be joined by Miss Mindy Jones, the owner of the Amy Jones Group. And Mindy joins us each week and provides a lot of great real estate insight as we have our various guests on Market of the Moment. Additionally, has a segment where we talk about what's happening in the market. And Mindy's been doing a great job over the last several weeks by increasing inventory each week and giving some of our buyers a shot out there. So good morning, Mindy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, absolutely. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about today. So if you're just joining us, hang in there. We've got some really good information to share with you, but we've seen a lot of changes in the market over the last few weeks that we've got to let you know about. And I also want to talk about some things that I'm seeing happening more frequently with our team here in the real estate industry. So we've got a lot to share, whether you're in the real estate industry, you're a client or a consumer like me, a resident of the Valley that wants to know what's happening with our houses. There's lots to talk about today.
Yeah, and Mindy, thank you for everything you bring each week. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the update and some of these conversations that we're going to be having today about making sure that we are doing the absolute best by our home sellers and making sure that we're educating them on everything that can affect the sale of their home. And then everybody is familiar with Ms. Dena Jones as well. Dena is the Director of Marketing for Fidelity National Title here in Arizona. So good morning, Dena.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back. I guess that nobody got scared about the all-girls show last time, so here we go again. But this time, it's not all girls.
Well, you guys will be able to have that back in a couple of weeks because I'm heading to the Pierogi Fest in Whiting, Indiana, 2 weeks from today. So you guys can take back control, and we'll see if I get welcome back afterwards. So, well, Dena is also one of the founding members of the Phoenix Real Estate Investor Association, the Phx REIA, and so we were going to spend a few minutes talking about the REIA, some of the things that are going on, and what the value is that this is bringing to people. So, Dena, if you can kind of start us off with, how did it come to be? How did it come to be that the Phoenix REIA was assembled, and who's involved, and maybe walk us through some of what's happened already with the REIA?
Sure. Well, it's kind of, the art of the pivot. It's definitely been something that's evolved over time. It got started originally because several of the big investors that we work with kind of came to me individually and said, hey, I'd like to collaborate with some other wholesalers and some other people that are really killing it. Honestly, it was for the first time where they were like, hey, we want to collab with people in our market who are our direct competitors. And so we kind of created like a small little mastermind of just kind of like the best in the biz. And that went strong for a couple of years. And kind of from that created a foundation for just a real open sharing between some of the people on strategies. I mean, things like how they are winning, how they were failing. I mean, I remember sitting in Chris Simon's living room, and one of the guys was sharing about, hey, you should probably double check the phone number on your postcard because, I sent out 10,000 mailers and I left off a digit. To your biggest fail to your biggest success, and kind of all of that kind of transitioned to these guys saying, hey, we want to open it up to networking, and we want to be able to have a place where we can network, we can meet new investors, and we can also help the future investors, and kind of just created an environment, and we that's become kind of an association in itself, where we just offer free education on every type of investing that you could potentially want to hear about. And it's been great. Networking has been fabulous. Chris Iman, the founder and president of the REIA, he has built his entire business off of networking. So, we definitely have that in common. And it's definitely been a fun journey. We've been going for about 3 years now. The last year has been virtual, which is crazy to think about. Over a year we've been virtual, and we're coming back live.
Well, and it's such a great event, and I'm so excited you guys are coming back live. And Dena, I'm not sure at what point you'd like me to show the video. I know you guys have a video.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so we're going to show the video. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the REIA and what's going on. Let's start with checking this out.
Investor in the Phoenix market would you like to be? Are you curious about the best ways to acquire new real estate investment here in Arizona? If you said yes to any of those questions, we have the perfect place for you to be, don't we, Chris?
Yes. Hi, my name is Chris Iman from the Phx REIA. We are going on our 3rd year now of giving free education, ideas, marketing ideas, what do's and don'ts of what to do in the real estate business.
And the best networking on the planet, in my personal opinion.
Network with people that are actually doing deals every day in this market.
So what I love about the Phx REIA community, we've really come together to unite the investment space so that people who have maybe never gotten their first deal have a place where they can come and learn. And for maybe people just like Chris, who've done more than 10,000 deals, it's still a place for them to come and learn. So we hope you can join us. We are back in person, connecting human to human again. Can you believe it?
Right, on the 3rd Tuesday of every month.
So we hope that you can join us. And in the meantime, check out the Phx REIA community in Facebook. There is a ton of education in there. We have been virtually creating amazing education platforms while we have not been connecting in human form lately. So there's a ton of content down there. Definitely reach out to either myself or Chris, and we can get you connected, get you RSVP'd, and we hope to see you soon.
Have a great day.
Yeah, great video, Dena, and I'm so excited that everybody is coming back in person for the REIA. So it's the 3rd Tuesday, correct?
3rd Tuesday
of
every
each
month.
So it is next Tuesday, right? This
No, it's this month's a little bit weird.
Okay.
So technically it's the 20th.
Okay.
So our
I'm
first
sorry.
Tuesday of the month was the 6th, which is kind of strange. So it's a little bit later than usual, but it's the 20th, and we're going to be in Scottsdale for the rest of the year. So connect with me or Don or any of your Fidelity sales execs, and we can get you guys a link to get you RSVP'd. We are limiting the number of people for obvious reasons that can attend. So definitely let us know right away if you would like to join us. And I got to tell you, it's become a phenomenal community where the folks in that space have not always been collaborative, and it's really neat to see everybody kind of coming together and getting excited to get back together. And Chris and I kind of started this, and we said, hey, we don't want this to be a profit thing. Like a lot of other real estate investor associations, they're profit centers. And we have said from the very beginning, we want this to just be a give. And we want to have a charity component. So, last week we got together and did a really cool, something we never done before. It's kind of like a telethon, but to raise money for Randy Guzman, who tragically passed away and left for children. And he was an investor in our space and has been in the Valley for a very long time. And we provided education for, I think it was like 6 or 7 hours straight. And we called it the Premier Real Estate and Investment Strategy Marathon. And we covered lead gen, mindset for success, disposition strategies, motivating sellers, crucial conversations, short-term rental strategies, private money opportunities, leverage, how to price a deal in today's market, a little bit of social media, scaling up your business. Chris taught a little bit about subject twos as well. And we had, Chris was one of the presenters, Dan Noma with Venture REI presented, Justin Colby with the Science of Flipping, Austin Zabak, Brent Daniels, Dustin Monger, Lauren Rosen, Andy Werner, and Jamil all presented. And it was just freaking phenomenal. And Randy's family was on there, and they got to see and hear about all the stories that everybody had about doing deals together. And we raised so far $34,785 for Randy's kids. So it's pretty special what can happen when you bring together a community of like-minded people to do something good for other folks. And there was just a ton of value that came out of the education too. So if you guys are interested in the education, I did ask Chris for permission today. If anybody made a donation and they wanted to see the live stream of the education, then I do have permission to share with them the stream of that. So if we could drop the link maybe in the comments of how to donate, and you guys can connect with me and let me know if you would like that education, that would be fabulous. Happy to share with you. All 6 or 7 hours or however long it was kind of crazy. It felt like a telethon. I've never been on a Zoom that long in my life.
Yeah,
I think if you guys haven't
do that much time. Sorry, Mindy. It's just a great job. I just want to say amazing job. I know, Mindy, you got something you want to contribute there as well, but great job on doing that. What a great contribution to the real estate community as well. So I'm sorry, Mindy, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I'd keep that link up there for longer, Don, because the truth of the matter is the content that this group pushes out is so valuable. So through COVID, obviously we as a local real estate team, we have our feet on the ground. So we feel the pulse of the industry. We can anticipate when changes are coming. We've got a very close emotional connection with our client base and have a really good understanding of what's happening out there. And simultaneously, we're constantly trying to stay connected to as many quality content sources so that we can pull all of those different options and solutions for our clients together into one place. And this group is one of the ones that we consistently turn to each month to see the content that they're posting on the Facebook page. And so not only was this event super valuable for folks, but all of the content that they provide is valuable. It's from people that are local. They know our market better than anybody else. There's obviously, in a hot market like ours, there's opportunity for so many people. And so, we are the ground zero, if you will, for any tech company that wants to try their hand into making money here, because they can make money here. And so can you, as our clients and our consumers and our local real estate agents. And the beauty of an organization like this is they're hyper local. They know the Valley better than anybody else. They're collaborating to provide as many solutions as possible for our clients. And the give back piece is so huge. They are real people who are using the dollars that they are making to invest back into their community. And those are things that large brand companies that are not from here, are not based here, those are things that those companies are not able to provide. And these are the types of solutions that we need to be getting in front of our clients. So donate because it's a good cause, and donate because access to that material is really invaluable.
Yeah, and I've got to tell you, I'm so happy you guys are back in person as well because of that networking aspect that happens. I'm excited to be there. I know it's on my calendar. Just apparently didn't know which Tuesday, but it's on one of those Tuesdays on my calendar. So so excited to be there on the 20th. I've seen the deals happen there, right? And here's something important to think about as well is that, there's a whole intimidation factor with walking into the room with some of these folks. Like, well, I'm not a big investor. I'm just looking to do a flip here or there, or looking to buy a couple rental properties. I'm not like an investor. Those are investors, and those are the people who thrive really well in these. And these are the people who should be in attendance, because I can't tell you how many people I've brought there as my guest, and they've walked out with a deal. And so it is such a valuable tool as part of your business if you're looking to grow into that space or have that as a leg of your real estate business. Or you want to make sure you're well educated and able to provide this information to your clients if they want to become investors. This is really important for you to be a part of. And so I'm looking forward to a great turnout on the 20th, and I'm looking forward. I've got a guest I'm bringing with me as well, and like so far everybody I've walked in the door with has walked out with a deal within the next week or two after networking there. So we're really looking forward to it, and I encourage you, if you've got questions about it, if you're not sure if it's a fit for you, if you're in the real estate space, reach out to Dena or myself. We'd love to have you there. If you are working with Mindy and her team, or looking to get into that space as part of your business, you should get with somebody like Mindy, because Mindy understands what all the ins and outs of it are, and going to help you be able to see and pivot whether or not this is going to be an important part of your business, which really, I think, leads us into that next part of our conversation this morning, Mindy, that we really wanted to kind of talk about is that educational piece for our homeowners and helping them get to the right decisions. So we talked a little bit before we went live about some of that, but I would really kind of like you to share why it's so valuable. I'll kind of let you kind of kick off the whole thing, because I don't want to take away what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So, I think anybody who's ever worked with the Amy Jones Group before, even hopefully just seen me on these types of, broadcasts online, knows that I believe very strongly in education and empowerment. I believe that everybody should be given an opportunity to make the best decisions for themselves and for their families. And that comes with the need to be educated about whatever it is you're trying to make a decision about. Over the last week, we have had 3 of our clients at the Amy Jones Group who've worked with us and understand how we work, have told us that someone in their family or their friend network or whoever, might be close to them, has decided to sell their home to an online offer that they received. So it could come from a variety of different companies: Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad. There's so many solutions out there. We're talking with Dena today, right, who works with a group of local investors all out there looking to put deals together to help people with their goals. And what I've found is that our clients are reaching out to us to say, hey, they've told us that they're going to go this route, and we've worked with you long enough to really understand the value of a real estate agent. I had one even tell me, I've never worked with somebody else before who used the word strategy as much as you used, right? So I think a lot of times our consumers think that the purpose of a real estate agent from a selling perspective is to put the home on the market. And for us, that is a step that comes several steps down the line, because before I can suggest putting your home on the market when you want to sell it, I need to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then I combine that with all of my resources and knowledge and education about the current environment, the relationships that I have, to propose a solution for you that helps you maximize your outcome, right? People will say, well, the offer I got from Zillow or from Open Door, it's so great. And right now it feels so great because there's so much equity to be relinquished from your property, right? And so there's so much money that's available that these offers feel really great. But my question is, really great compared to what? And if you haven't been given the opportunity to explore all of the different offers that you could have, or all of the different ways that you could sell your property, you haven't yet been given the keys to the best solution for you, right? And so in the situation where these clients have come to us and said, we feel like you might have some insight to give them, we didn't get a chance to get in front of them to have this conversation with them. So the best that I could share with our clients is exactly what I'm sharing here, which was, I'm not going to talk them out of using those services, because there is absolutely a time and place for those services. But until I know their situation, and until I know what other opportunities they might have to get to their goals without leaving money on the table or without additional frustration or issues, I can't recommend a path for them, right? And I think that's the key differentiator in working not only with our team, but with professionals in this industry who are committed to providing the best solutions for their clients, right? Their first step is not about putting the home on the market. The first step is finding out what the clients need. And, you know, a couple of the examples that I was sharing with you before I came on this call is, I have a client that's closing this month, and I had a client that's closed a couple months ago. The one that's closing this month, I've never met him in person. So one of the challenges that one of my clients shared with me about their friend was that they needed to leave this week and go back to where they were living out of state. And therefore, what other options did they have but to take one of these online offers? Because how could they deal with what they needed to deal with and not be here, right? And I said, we just netted these sellers $50,000 more than they would have gotten through one of these other options. And we coordinated renovations for them. We provided access. We shared resources and partners. We put a strategy together for them. And this was the example of another person who thought at the beginning, how could I do anything but go through one of these other avenues, right? And so I'm on this sort of mission, and you can tell because I know I start to sound like I'm yelling at people, but
we're used to it.
I am such a firm believer in the value of being a homeowner, not only for your community, but for the financial opportunity it can create. I remember getting into my first house. I scraped every dollar that I had. I barely had any money to get into my first house. I had a crappy interest rate, right? I barely skated my way just to get in. But that first house has completely changed my life. It allowed me to incrementally move up year after year into something that was a better fit for my family. It has positioned me financially to make other decisions, to now be a landlord with multiple rental properties. Like, these are things that I never thought was possible. And I believe that they are possible through real estate if you are partnered with somebody who really has your best interest in mind. And I think when we have clients that are taking offers because they seem easy and because the dollar amount sounds good, we need to be able to have the conversation of, are there pain points that you believe this solution is solving for you? Because often I find those perceived pain points can also be eliminated by a professional real estate agent without sacrificing any of your equity, and often increasing the amount of net that you will get at the end of the day.
You know, Mindy, I think that we have a lot of different conversations on this live stream each week, and this might be one of the most important ones that we have, because if you're watching this and you're a realtor and you're trying to elevate your business, right? If you want, this is the type of feedback you should be taking, right? This is the type of thing, and I am so fortunate that I get to work with so many amazing people in this business, and people that are brilliant, and people that just really care about the outcome for their clients. That's one of the most important things that I think that we can do. So as we have this conversation, we're not trying to say that iBuyers and these other things are bad. There are people this is the right solution for. What we really want to say is this is the solution business, right? This is like, how do we go into this situation, hear what our client's position is. And I use the word client, and you know, they may never sell with us, they may never buy with us, but we should still look at them all the same, that we want to support their decisions and help them get to that best solution for them and their family. Owning real estate has changed my life as well, Mindy. It's you know, I look at my you know, my personal financial situation, and becoming a homeowner was one of the best financial decisions I've ever made, and created so much stability in my life where it wasn't there before, and has given me the ability to know that if something were to drastically change in my life, that I would still have this stability and the financial wherewithal that comes as a result of it. So when it comes time to have this conversation with a homeowner, and you know that it's so important, and if you are a homeowner and you're thinking about buying or selling a home, this is why working with somebody like Mindy is so important, because be able to diving in, and you know, I see people all the time who say, well, you know, I don't want to live in a condo. I don't want, you know, but they aren't in a situation where financially, that, you know, especially in the market we're in right now, that they're able to go and buy that 2,500 square foot home that they're looking for. So understanding that path of like, you know, you're not gonna live in a condo forever. You know, let's talk about how we now get that condo so we can build equity in there, and we can take that money and leverage it into our next step. And then, do we need to sell it? Maybe, maybe not. You know, we'll evaluate that when we're at that point. And but how to get you into that next step of your life. Amazing job, Mindy, on what you guys do around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, I'm always out there for the underdog. My mom used to call me Ralph Nader when I was a kid, because she said that I would watch TV commercial. You know, there's like the 10-ton truck or the 2-ton, I don't even know, whatever, a ton, some ton amount of truck. And I would say, but really, can it really hold that? You know, so here I'm like 5 and I'm watching and I'm like, can it really hold that? Like, is that really true? Is that what you're telling consumers is really true? And that's my nature. I want people to have opportunity. And so when you're in a market like the one that we're in now, and one, there is massive amounts of opportunity, right? And 2, it is for a finite amount of time. This will not be the market of forever. It's never the market of forever, right? This is not going to be the market of forever. So I feel a sense of urgency to ensure that people are educated so that they can make the best decisions for themselves, whether it's now, it's 6 months from now, or it's a year from now. My job is not to push somebody into making a move or buying a property or starting a rental portfolio. That is not what my goal is. My goal is to find out what it is that you're trying to accomplish and how real estate could help you accomplish that. And then based on my knowledge of the market and the partnerships that I have, what would be my recommended strategy of how to get there? And that will look different for every person. I do a market update in the office every Thursday morning, which is great prep to come on here every Thursday morning. And one of the things that we were talking about, which Amber's going to talk about what's happening in the finance space, but my biggest you know, conversation with them outside of this, how to share strategy with your sellers, was about making sure all of your clients understand their financial situation and are pre-qualified. Whether they plan on doing something today or in 6 months from now, the biggest issue I find is that people don't make a move to understand their financial space until they want to do something about it. And they don't typically decide to want to do something about it overnight, right?
Right.
As I always say, we're not talking about buying shoes, we're talking about buying a house. So you sit there and you ponder for months on end, you talk to your spouse, you talk to the people at work, you see what's happening in your neighborhood, you do all of this mental work, and then you come to your own solution, right, with what you want your next step to be, but you haven't yet built any of the foundation that you need to actually implement it. And so now you're pushed back 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, as you do that work. And so my recommendation is, if you know there's opportunity in the real estate space right now, prepare yourself by understanding how much money do you have available to you from your house. If you're not a homeowner, how much have you saved, or where can money come from that you're comfortable with? What's your budget look like? What are you willing to increase your budget by? Talk with a lender, find out what you qualify for. Find out if you were to adjust your sales price once you get into the market, what would that look like? Are you and your family okay with that number? How much money do you have to bring to the table? What are the 3 different areas that Amber would recommend that you could use that money for? Like, have all of these conversations now. And while things will change, your interest rate will likely be higher in a year. So you'll have to adjust your numbers a little bit. You'll have already processed where you're sitting at, so that when something comes on the market, you're ready to do something about it. So whether we're talking about sellers and evaluating online offers, or we're talking about buyers and being prepared for the future, it's all about education. And it's all about doing that with people who truly care about you, which you cannot achieve that through an emailed offer with somebody who hasn't had a conversation with you about who you are and what you do. It's just not possible.
And so the reality is that if we want to have an objective conversation with our homeowner, right, we have to then be objective, and we have to come in and we have to take that and then say, okay, these are the paths, and what path works for you. The fact that you need to be across the country in a week, that's an important factor. But if you work with somebody like Mindy, there are solutions where you don't have to ever, Mindy, I know you mentioned earlier, you sold us without ever meeting the person, right?
I closed on a family in Australia, never met them, lived in Australia, bought a rental property in Arizona, had never seen it, and then sold it with also out never seeing it. We did new carpet and new paint. We did the whole selling process. I had to figure out, trust me, a notary is not the same in Australia as it is in the United States. Like, we did it all. And it was the easiest process. He's actually a broker in Australia. And he said this was the easiest sale that he had ever done. And it was in a completely different country.
And so I think it's important that people know that this is, for one, Amy Jones Group, amazing team to work with, because you're going to look at these resources, right? You're going to, and again, we've got so many partners out there who are part of this, and but when you have a good partner, it's going to be somebody who looks to these kinds of solutions, who is looking to say, look, at Australia, no problem. We can make it work, and the things that are challenging, we'll figure out. If there's a loss in the family and there's concerns about how in the world are we going to manage this process, what happens with title, what happens with this, what happens with, that there are solutions there too.
And that was one of them. That was one of them this past week, was a loss in the family. And I really think that we're talking about people who are under extreme emotional duress.
Right.
And if they are not working, I mean, I'm a mom, I am a daughter, I am a human. I give back to I live right here. I mean, I can only treat people like I would hope somebody would treat me. Right. And so when we look at clients, we know the stress that big moves, life changes, etc. cause. And I told the client who had owned the house that we're closing on this week for $50,000 over, he hasn't occupied that house for 20 some years, been a rental, but that was his family's home in Arizona. So when we closed, I said, even though he had not made mention of emotion, I said, I'm sure this was a difficult sale for you. Even when you probably didn't expect it to be.
Right.
I'm sure that it was. And I just hope we were able to make it as, smooth and good as possible as we could for you. And you will not get that understanding from someone who is not your neighbor.
Right.
That's why we believe in supporting local businesses. That's why we believe in supporting your local community, because that's how you ensure that you have people that are looking out for you.
And all the while, that if we, that if the opportunity is the best thing for you and your family after you explore your options, if the best solution is, then you've got an amazing offer from this website offer from this iBuyer from if that's the best solution, then we're going to advise you on that too, and
absolutely
still want to be there to help you to understand and all that stuff. So amazing job.
Absolutely, because they're being very competitive. The iBuyers
right.
are being more competitive than I have ever seen them, and that's
right.
because there's opportunity here. So if large companies are spending lots of money here, that should tell you as sellers what kind of an asset you have right now.
Yeah, for sure. So, Mindy, great topic today, super important. I appreciate the fact that your willingness to dive into this and to have these conversations, and what an amazing job you do for your clients as well. So thank you for that also. So we're gonna pivot again. It's now time for us to check in with Miss Amber over here, and she's been hanging out in the wonderful cool temperatures in North Carolina, and probably heading to a beach somewhere next week. That's probably why she's taking next week off from us. But Amber, so we've talked over the last couple of weeks about a lot of different financial measures that are impacting interest rates. So how are they looking? I don't know what the market's at right now this morning, but I saw we were off to a rough start this morning when the bell rang on Wall Street. So if you can kind of let us know what we're looking at, what things are impacting us, and what maybe we should expect over the next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me as always. And yes, there's a analyst that I follow the most. I really like what he has to say, and his whole thing is that the masses are always wrong. Like the mass of people, they usually all go in like the same direction, and they believe the same thing. And so he's always says, the mass is usually wrong, and he's been on this, bandwagon of inflation is not the concern that we believe that it is. Deflation is almost more of a concern, which is completely against what most people have been saying. So anyway, he feels like as of today that he's starting to be the one that's right. The reports are showing that maybe the economy is not as strong as everybody thought it was, that what we were seeing was a lot of revenge buying during COVID, supply chain issues, raising prices up, maybe not true like strength. And so we're starting to get some concerns in regards to that, causing the stock market to drop. Anytime we see a correction in the stock market, we're usually going to see better interest rates, because money is either going to flow into stocks or to bonds. And if people are starting to feel uncomfortable with the future of the economy, they're going to likely pull money out of stocks and put them into bonds, which is going to help lower our interest rates. And so that's the advantage that we're getting right now. So in the last couple of days, we have seen interest rates get better, which is
Amber,
awesome.
Sorry to interrupt, but is there, I think we're getting background noise on your, I'm not sure if we've got another window open or.
No, I think it is.
It's the family.
It's my roommate in my office space being noisy.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to interrupt, but I was like, I'm not sure if I was getting everything that you're saying. So
I know. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I don't
no
know if
worries.
there's a way for me to. My AirPod might be just really good at picking up sound as well.
We'll work our way through it. So sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry. You're fine. So money is flowing into bonds, causing interest rates to get better. So the future of interest rates is still unknown. Like, how long is the Fed continue to buy mortgage-backed securities? When are they going to taper? When they taper, we know interest rates are going to go up. But until that happens, where are they going to be? So right now they've dropped a little bit. So it's an incredible time to take advantage. What we're really seeing right now for our clients is buyers that bought in the last year, like 2020, maybe even towards the end of 2019, that put less than 20% down, that have mortgage insurance, that now in this short period of time, we could refinance them to remove it. So we're reducing interest rates, maybe not like the 0.75% that we normally like to reduce a rate on a refinance, but we're dropping them 0.5% or even 0.3%, and we're removing the mortgage insurance, and we're saving them $200, $300 a month, and it's making a ton of sense. So if you're looking to add value to your clients, to our realtor partners out there, is reaching out to your buyers from last year that didn't put down the 20%, that could likely benefit from this rise in values, remove their mortgage insurance, and drop that monthly payment. Because there's a lot of savings, and the mortgage insurance won't automatically drop off for at least 2 to 5 years, depending on how much equity they have in the home. And so the refinance could definitely make sense for them. So I would be communicating out that message to your clients, and that way when we do see these little dips along the way, we're going to have some ups and downs, they can jump on them and take advantage and get that savings right now. So
well, and I think when we think about that getting rid of that mortgage insurance, right? So I mean, this could be $100, $200, $300 a month, depending on the size of the loan. And then even if you're only going down, a quarter point, a third of a point on your interest rate, that might not seem like a huge increase, but when you combine the two together, that could be your car payment. That you now have, and it's like you're driving your car for free at that point, just because of the money that you were able to work through these systems. So
yeah, it's pretty incredible. The opportunity is definitely out there, and we're always going to look at what's the cost versus the savings, and what's the recoup, and does it make sense? But it's worth checking into, and could be a really good value add for you to reach out to your clients.
Yeah. So so important message from Miss Amber today. Reaching out to your folks that you've helped, that what their down payment percentage was, whether or not they had mortgage insurance when you were looking at their closing docs, and making sure that you're tracking back with them to, again, going back to our previous conversation, if we're going to be in the solution business, this is one of those solutions, right? We can help them to be in a better financial position. It could be a growing family. This could be the difference between gymnastics or karate or whatever else, right? By saving that money. And so Destiny just put a comment on here. Destiny is with Mindy's team, and they purchased a year ago and dropped their payments by $500 a month. That's being in the solution business, right? That is helping out this family. And thinking about now the different ways that they can put that money to work is awesome. So thank you for sharing.
Most people don't realize that in this short of a period of time that they would even have this opportunity. So when you're the one that calls them to say, hey, I've heard some of our clients saving money through a refinance. I know you put down less than 20%. I'm not exactly sure how much your mortgage insurance was, but I ran an updated valuation on your home, and I think it makes sense to talk to your lender to see if you may be able to restructure that loan. Huge value add, big game changer for your client financially.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, sorry, phone was ringing and all this stuff. So I'm so sorry. And but yeah, it's important that we're looking at these things, and it's important to be staying connected to our clients, because when Destiny reaches out to this family and now helps them reduce the payment on the house they bought a year ago by $500 a month, then she's really showing some great value beyond the actual transaction, and so kudos to her for that, and way to go, and we're excited for that family as well. So okay, so Mindy, as we are talking about the market as a whole and what we're seeing, we've talked about inventory. We've talked about that there have been some increases. Last week, we talked about the impact of a holiday week. And this is really kind of the holiday week as well still, right? Because we still have a lot of people who are on vacation this week who, had Monday off work. So they took off this week and they're out traveling and enjoying cooler temperatures someplace else or a beach. So how are things looking on the inventory space for this week?
Yeah, so I think we've got a lot of good information to share this week. I think if you've been following us along for any amount of time now, you know that we've been talking about an increase in inventory. and the potential for some dampening in demand since about the middle of February, early March timeframe. And I think we said to you then, and probably for several months after that, that you wouldn't be feeling any of this in the marketplace. And we definitely have started to feel it over the last couple of weeks. Again, none of anything that we're talking about when we talk about a cooling of the market or dampening of demand or even an increase of inventory has anything to do with a decline in prices. In fact, we expect prices to probably continue headed north through the end of the year. What we are seeing, though, is we're seeing some differences in our selling conditions. So if we look at actual numbers, we have about 5,700 listings on the market right now that are excluding under contract. So those are actually available listings. And if we compare that to this time last year, we had 8,700. So we're down about 35%. But if you just take a moment to pause and remember that at the peak of our frenzy, if you will, from the market this year and our deficiency of inventory, we were down nearly 80% year over year from an inventory perspective. So we've gained quite a bit of ground in a very short period of time to only be under inventory by about 35%. And actually 16% of that ground was gained in just the last month. So that's a pretty big difference for us. And certainly if you're a seller and you're trying to time the market, again, this goes back to your strategy. Where are you going? Are you buying? Is it a rental property? So that we can help you make the best decision. But if you've been trying to time the market, my personal opinion is that March through May of this year will go down in history as one of the fastest appreciating times in our market that will ever have happened. And I think we'll have seen the peak now of that pace of appreciation. So if you're trying to time it, you did it, and now go to market, right? And then from a buyer perspective, the urgency certainly continues. The more inventory that hits the market and the faster the pace that that inventory hits the market, the faster we'll get to that balanced market. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying in a balanced market. In fact, for most people, it gives you a little breathing room. You can actually talk about the house a little bit, right? I mean, that from an experience perspective, lovely. But if you're trying to get the most out of your purchase, then buying in an appreciating market will quickly give you the most benefit, as we've seen, like Destiny mentioned, for the people who've bought in the past year, what they've already been able to achieve. So from a buyer perspective, that clock really is ticking day by day by day. As more inventory comes to the market, you get the benefit of having a few more options. Amber's given you the benefit of a little bit better of an interest rate compared to what we could expect 6 months or a year down the road. But the biggest piece, and the most important part, is you've got a greater opportunity for more appreciation starting today. So the sooner you can get in as that appreciation starts to slow, the more you are guaranteed to get that money in your pocket before we hit that balanced time frame. So that's really where our messaging is for clients right now, is to ensure that they understand what's happening. They understand that the clock has sort of sped up a little bit. There's a little more sense of urgency to start making moves if you're trying to get the most out of your purchase or your sale. We are starting to see the speed up of the number of new listings come to the market, and we're starting to see a little bit of a dampening of buyer demand due to probably some of the shell shock of the increase in inventory. But I honestly think that as buyers start to hear that there's a little more inventory available to them, if agents are doing a good job talking about the change in the selling environment and the potential for a little bit more negotiation opportunity, and then again, as we get out of the hot temperatures of the summer, I think that you'll start to see that shift very quickly. So we can handle the increase in inventory. Builders have changed their methods in order to garner as much appreciation as we have on the resale side. So everybody's kind of catching up. And, you know, my opinion, Amber's, the person that Amber looks to says that he says the masses are typically wrong. I think the reasoning behind that really has nothing to do about masses or, you know, the majority of people or whatever. I think it has to do with, by the time the masses get the message, the market has already changed. And so I think our sellers are just now kind of getting caught up, and our buyers are just now getting caught up with what kind of environment we had in the March, April, May timeframe, just in time for us to say, oh, but it's a little bit different now. And so I think that's why we always have to be focused on education in the real estate space, because what we see and feel will always be 30 to 90 days ahead of what our clients are feeling. So definitely lots is changing, and there is still lots of opportunity for folks. It does take strategy. It does take someone who understands the market. Please do not leave money or time or energy on the table when a consultation is free. So that is really my message and my guidance right now.
Well, and you know, it's so funny. I was in a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they said, we just want to wait till this frenzy's over, and these people who are paying, you know, $50,000 over asking price, and you know, we just want to wait till all that's over. And I explained to them, I said, here's the challenge with that, is that this $50,000 over asking price is now, when that house hit the market, it's now listed at $50,000 higher than it was, than it would have been, you know, 6 months ago.
That's your comp.
So yeah, and so it's everything is moving up. So you know what they're paying over asking price really isn't the issue, right? I mean, well, it's an issue in a competitive way, but it's in a value way that really shouldn't be your decision maker and your decision making factor. You know, we've talked about plenty of times in previous episodes, getting the deal is the deal, and you know, and it's important to keep that in mind. That if you're going to wait because you don't want to go into this competitive market, the competing has already been done for you. All the pushing up has already happened for you, and now you're still paying it. You're just paying it without all of the hoopla that everybody's getting excited around, you know, in that.
And you're hedging your bets a little bit too, because the sooner you can get in, the more space you have until we get to that balanced market state. I mean, obviously you can't say what's going to happen when you get to that balanced market. No one who's close to our data is predicting that prices will fall at any point. And we obviously I don't have a crystal ball. I mean, I can do the best about staying educated. So if from an investment perspective, you hedge your bets a little bit by getting in as soon as you can, because then you've got some more time that it's going to go up. So if and until it flattens out or it were to fall, you got in at a point where you still had some cushion there, right? And so the sooner you could get in with that cushion, the better. The alternative is you're getting keys to your new house, and meanwhile I'm sending you a home bot report that says the prices are, you know, not increasing day after day after day because we're in a balanced market. I mean, that's really the alternative, right? So, I mean, I think the key, like I said, is get pre-qualified, understand where your money is, understand what your options are, whether you're going to do something about it today or not. We've got plenty of people, it's just not the right market for them. They're willing to take the higher price point. They're willing to take the risk of the higher interest rate, and that's fine. There is no judgment there. Everybody has to do what's best for their family. Get prepared now, so that whenever you feel like it's the right time for you, then you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much for today. I appreciate all of the time and energy that everybody puts into this. I'm so excited to attend, and we'll put a reminder next week as well about the Phx REIA coming back on the 20th. We're going to be in Old Town Scottsdale. Reach out to Dena or myself. Or Sharon, if you would like more information about attending. We're excited to be in person again, and excited for that networking to happen. Amber, we hope you have a great week away next week, and keep enjoying those cooler temperatures. Tell us all about them when you get back. And
I don't think I will. You might not like me very much.
Yeah, well, actually, in 2 weeks when you're back, I'm off to the Chicago area. We'll see what the temperatures look like there, because it can be hot and humid there as well. So, and Mindy, thank you for everything you do each week, and for sharing your message with us and the information on the market. Thank you guys. You guys are an amazing, valuable group, and we look forward to seeing everybody back next week. So, bye-bye. We'll see you guys later.